All right, guys, it is the 29th of February. It is a leap year, so we had an extra day. And I was talking to some coaches on the team, and they were just saying, I am so glad I had this extra day because I know that a lot of people were screaming Success Club in the midnight hour. They have just been working their tails off to make it happen. This morning, I was in the middle of a coach call, and I just started seeing the Facebook page and seeing that they were launching early. So what I want to do tonight is actually walk you through a couple of things, how I'm doing the launch. I put an email in the KB as to how I am actually talking about the launch, how I'm approaching the launch. But then on top of that, I also just want to give you an idea as to how I sort of did it this month, which is different than past months. So I'm going to actually screenshot it for you. But I'm only talking for a couple of minutes tonight because my friend Sarah Griffith is actually going to be on the call. If you don't know Sarah Griffith, she's the Dream Team Live event in Pittsburgh. She is, I believe, a Star Diamond coach.
I remember the headphones.
Is a full-time, hold on one second. She is a full-time administrative principal at a high school out near Penn State. So she is busy, and she's also getting her, I believe, her master's as well. It might be her PhD. I'm not really sure. She can tell you. But she's the definition of busy. She has every reason for this business not to work, and yet she really overcomes that. So she's actually going to talk to us tonight about how she really prioritizes, how she kind of lets go of those excuses, and how she kind of laser focuses on her business to propel it forward, to move it forward. If one of you guys could just, in the KB, if you guys could copy this URL and post it in the Knockout Brigade so other people have it, that would be great. All right, so a couple of announcements, and then I'm going to get to, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah when she pops on. Let me share my screen. All right, so a couple of things that I just wanted to remind you guys, and I'm going to make this really big for you, is we do have a leadership retreat that is coming up. We are going to be running, actually we did rent a really big house in Deep Creek, Maryland. For the weekend. We're going to have two presenters there. We're going to have Kim Carver, who is notorious for being the coach whisperer, and then we are also going to have Melanie Mitro on there as well, who is also going to be sharing her tips and strategies for growing her business. So this is definitely an event that you don't want to miss. Guys, if you hit Success Club this month, awesome. If you, are working towards it, you're focusing on it, but it doesn't happen, in March, when you achieve SC10, you are still eligible to attend the retreat in Deep Creek. Now, a couple of things about this event. This is definitely for someone who is interested in knowing more about the business and growing their business and really focusing on moving their business forward. So this is something that you want to work towards. Now, I know, historically speaking, so many people kind of shy away from this kind of stuff, and they think, this belongs to somebody else. I can't do that. That just seems so distant for me. I don't know if I'm capable of earning something like that. You really have to push your fears aside, and you have to say, I'm going to make this a priority. I am really going to focus on making sure that this happens, and this is an event that you don't want to miss. To have that individualized attention with the top coach in the organization and also corporate representation is really an amazing opportunity. So the information is here. I'm going to post it again in the KB this week so that you have it as well, so that you can check it out and get yourself on the list. Okay, so let's talk hardcore. I talked about my marketing strategy a little bit last week. So really my focus was putting my efforts into a free group this month. So I ran a free boot camp. In fact, the free boot camp is finishing this week. It ran for 2 weeks. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what that looks like in case you were curious as to how I did it. So what I did was I created an event on my, I went to say it too fast, on my like page, right? So in my like page, I created this event, And throughout the event, I started saying things like, hey guys, invite your friends. I challenge you to invite your friends. Post this on your timeline, so that they were sharing. I went in and I invited my friends. I went in, and you can actually invite people from other groups that you are a part of. So you can go back to events that you've hosted. You can go back to events you've attended, and you can invite based on that. So it simplifies the way that you invite. So let's say that last month I ran a crockpot group. I could go into that crockpot group and I could invite those people to this just by using this tool. So that was the first thing I did. I just invited people through that. That was my first step. And then once I did that, and I talked about it on the event page for about a week, I transferred everybody over. I didn't have them sign up for a free account. I transferred everybody over who had done the minimum. And that was that they shared it, they tagged 5 friends in a post, and that they made sure that they liked my page. Once I did that, I transferred them over to a group. And within that group, I then have a post every day, and the post is a workout of the day. So if you want to see the photos that I did, each day there is a specific assignment that they have to do. So day 1 was 10 burpees, 50 squats, 50 jumping jacks. And then I also give them either a recipe or a inspirational quote. But the more I get them involved, like the more that I ask them to do things, the more that I make sure that they are involved. And I know a couple of you guys are in this group, and it's really, really interactive. There's a lot of engagement in there. And the other thing I did in here is I also created a demo video of me demonstrating the workout move. So I just did a quick iMovie of me demonstrating how the moves actually worked, how they happened. And so that was the first step. People had to watch this video, and then what they had to do is they had to go over, and then they had to do those moves in the boot camp. So what's happening in the boot camp is I am just giving them little tidbits about the Tony Horton 22-day hardcore. So I didn't advertise for a lot of it on my personal page. I didn't advertise for a lot of it on my like page. Instead, I focused on this free group, and I'm doing a lot of the advertising for it within there. So I am officially launching 22 hardcore tomorrow. So even though it launched today, I am personally launching it tomorrow. So that is my focus tomorrow. So that is kind of how I did it. So in thinking ahead into March, perhaps, and you have a couple of options, perhaps you want to do 22 hardcore, but what if you shift it and go back a week and you host a boot camp for a week? You advertise it this week and then you start it next Monday. And you really focus on having those people within the group really invite to the free group. And the more you give in the free group, the more people kind of in turn come back to you. So this is what has worked for me this month. I've never done it before. I didn't know how it was going to do, and it's ended up doing really, really well. As of right now, I have about 20 people who are ready to sign up, who've never had accounts, or who have Beachbody accounts and no coach, who are ready to sign up and do 22 hardcore. So obviously this worked. Like there was something about this that worked, and it was the idea of giving something to someone for free and making sure that I was making them responsible for adding this kind of information on their times, sharing it on their timelines. So now what's going to happen is any time that I run a free group, I'm going to change the banner, I'm going to change the title of it, but I am going to continue to add to this free group. So does that make sense? Do you guys have questions about that? If you have not run a free group, this is definitely somewhere that you want to consider going. If you're somebody who's struggling to invite people, if you're having that struggle with conversation, if you're really feeling like I come off as salesy, give something to people. And when you give that to people, the more excited they are in turn to really want to hear what you have to say, to really want to, like feel like, she's giving me a lot. Maybe this accountability group or maybe this test group is going to be something that I want to join as well. So the last thing I just want to tell you guys is that there is a challenge tracker app that's now available. So within that challenge tracker app, you can actually now take the groups that you used to run on Facebook, and now you can run them using the challenge tracker app. It is very, very easy to use. So it, much like you use a Facebook group, you can also use the challenge tracker app. It's the same concept. You are doing the same exact thing. So basically in the challenge tracker app, you can invite using emails. Nobody has to use Facebook for it. And you post and you comment and you can put videos and you can put photos in. You can upload your files early so that, you can have everything scheduled. You can schedule your posts. You know how a lot of us use Sendable? Now you can schedule your post. You can schedule them live right on the site. So that is really what I am doing for 22 Hardcore. I actually had a few people from Instagram. I don't know if anyone on here uses Instagram, but I found that when I was using Instagram that I was finding people who weren't using Facebook. And so this is kind of resolving that issue. So as long as I have an email, it becomes easier to contact and connect with people. All right. Okay. So lastly, guys, Success Club at the end of February in the midnight hour. I have to give a special shout out to Sarah Pierce, who I knew made it happen. Kirsten Ness made it happen. Christina Hurley made it happen. Liz Hawley, I know, is at SC4 right now, working hard towards SC5. She is really making sure that she is focusing and ready to rock. So guys, I cannot wait to shout you guys out tomorrow for a job well done. I know that February was one of those months where so many of us were kind of ripping out our hair and we were going, why isn't anyone listening? But the month is almost over. And congratulations to you for making it happen. And then as we move into the new month, we will focus, I think, a lot on 22 Hardcore. But I would suggest, guys, taking out your calendar for the month of March and really focusing on what you want to launch when. Log in and kind of put, well, when are my challenge groups going to start? When do I want to focus on, my challenge groups? When do I want to focus on advertising for coaching? When do I really want to start talking about different challenge groups aside from 22 Hardcore? So you want to think about those things. You want to start talking about those things as well. So as you focus on the new month ahead, the clean slate that's coming up, just make sure you are laser focused on what your goals are going to be and the time frame in which you can do it, so that when you sit down to do work, you can just get right to it. All right, guys, so Sarah Griffith is on, and if I gave you guys a little bit of background, but I'm sure Sarah's going to talk about it a little bit more. Sarah, thank you so much for being on the call. She is a fellow teacher, so she speaks very, very well to just her struggles and her setbacks and ultimately her comebacks. And what I really respect about Sarah is she doesn't have time for BS. So I believe you have an administrative role in your school now. So you spend a lot of time with disciplinary action as well. So that's something I believe can also be transferred into your business as well, with the idea of discipline. So Sarah, I don't want to take up too much time. I want to turn over the call to you so that you can just do your thing. And I think you said you have you want to share screen tonight too?
Yeah, if that's okay, I would.
Awesome. You can totally do that. So it is all you. I'm going to mute myself and you are good to go.
All right. 1 second here. Can everybody see my computer screen? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for having me. Tonight, I'm going to talk about something that I feel is one of my biggest strengths as a coach. So I'll go into details about that in a few minutes. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and how I make this business work while I'm doing many other things. But I do want to say thank you for having me on your call tonight. I really look up to your leader, to Katie, but I also really look up to your team. I think that you have an amazing culture. And I just, I see different cultures among different teams, but one of the things that I see among your team is a desire to serve others and to do something for something bigger. So I see that in all of you. I can tell when someone's one of Katie's coaches. And I know that Katie, probably doesn't want them to be called Katie's coaches. I know you're part of a team and you're the knockout brigade, but I can tell you all have something really special about you. So you should be proud of that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I do want to tell you about myself. Not that I necessarily think you care about, that I have a kid or that I'm married or whatever, but I want you to see the whole picture as to how I make this work. Because I know a lot of you on this call are probably really busy and you're maybe questioning, how can I make this business work? So those are some of the tips that I'll give you tonight. So I'm a wife. I'm a mom to a 4-year-old. He's actually a little bigger than he is in that picture now. I taught business education for 6 years. I will be very honest with you and tell you that played in my favor. Teaching business to high school students makes you a good Beachbody coach because you understand business. So that did play in my favor. At first, I didn't realize that was going to play in my favor. I'll get into that in a minute, but I didn't know that I was going to be doing this like I am. But anyways, I taught business education. One of the classes that I taught actually was social media marketing. So I had an upper hand than somebody who has no background in business. So I taught for 6 years, and then this year I was offered an administrative role. I was finishing my master's to be a principal. So my master's degree is going to be in educational leadership. So the two together equal the dream Beachbody coach, right? At least I thought, I didn't realize it until I found that this really was what I loved. So this year, I'll tell you, I'm in this role, I'm a 12th grade administrator, and one of the things that was asked of me from the beginning was to not be so public on social media. I got the job, and within the first week and a half, my other administrator, they came in and they said, yeah, what you're doing on social media, you need to not do it. Because in this role that you're in, you can't be so public. There's families in the community that look up to you. You're working with seniors who are also on social media. So whatever you're doing with this Beachbody business, shut it down so that it's not so public. That was like, as a teacher, if anyone's a teacher on this call tonight, that was from week 1 of teaching, that was my biggest fear. I was always afraid they were going to say, you can't do both. You can't be on social media. And it's not that as a coach, we're doing anything wrong. I mean, I'm not naked in my pictures. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just me in a different light. And it is a little bit risky. And, you're talking about how you're doing well with this other business and you're traveling with this other business, and all while you still have your other full-time job. So you have to walk that line very carefully. So if any of you are doing that, you're working another full-time job, but you're still doing Beachbody and you're talking about it, be careful, be respectful of the other job that you still have. I'm not saying that you can't do both. You can, but you need to do it tactfully. And you need to be careful and don't bite the hand that feeds you. Right now, I'm still employed by the school district, so I have to be respectful of their wishes. So my personal page is not public. So please, when the call's over, if you want to be friends, head over to my like page. Don't go to my personal page because it is private, and I'm trying to keep it to, potential clients. So anyways, I have found that that's hard. It's hard to have to be private in a very public role that we're in. Beachbody says the more people you can reach, and then my job says the less the better. So it has made it difficult, but I still have pulled it off. I didn't mention this, but we live in State College, Pennsylvania. I have personally sponsored 5 diamonds in the last year, and the bad part about that is that they were all on the same leg. So I did have the points to go elite. I had the diamonds to go elite. I had everything, but I had the wrong strategy. So I am not an elite coach. I am actually still a 1-star coach. It's really frustrating. I'm hoping that in this next qualification period here pretty soon, I can go from 1-star to a lot more. So my team has big things coming up, and I'm not letting that derail me. You're going to hit walls with your business where you're like, what? I wanted that so bad and it didn't happen. But you can't let that deter you. You can't quit. You just have to say, you know what? It's part of my story. So yes, I have 5 diamonds. Yes, they're on the same leg. And it stunk. But you know what? I learned, and my coaches are learning from it too. They're not making that mistake that I did. So anyways, so I will share that in the beginning, I did say no thank you. My upline coach is Deidre Penrose. We had went to college together, and we worked at the same restaurant. So I knew her from college. I didn't really know her that well, but I saw her, and I couldn't stop watching her. And it was almost like, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, it was almost like a car accident or a train wreck. You know how you can't stop watching? You guys know what I'm talking about? She was on social media, and she was posting like these videos of her prepping food and working out and everything. And I just remember, like, I would go to her page and I'm like, oh, that girl, she's working out at 5 a.m. and here I am, I'm not. And I just, like, I was drawn to her and I didn't know why. And I watched her for a good year. So that consistency that you guys need to have, it's true. You need to be consistent. So I just kind of watched her and I said no. She invited me a couple times. I said no thanks. So it wasn't an instantaneous, I want to be a Beachbody coach. So that didn't happen for me. It took me a while. So I did say no thanks for a little bit, but then after a while, after I couldn't stop watching, and when I got to the place where I felt like I actually did want to get some help, a transformation, she was, of course, the first person I picked. And the reason I picked her is because I knew that she was still going to be there when I needed her help. She was going to show up because she was that girl who every day was showing up. So I picked her because of that. It wasn't like she was my best friend from college. It was just that this girl seems to know what she's doing. So I recommend to my coaches, and I recommend to you guys, do that. Just be consistent. That's all people need. At this point in my business, I do not have hired help. I put that on there because a lot of people ask me that. They say, okay, you're working a full-time job where you're on the go all the time. You've got a family. Surely you have help. I do not have help. I built this business. This is in March will be 2 years. I've built it by working after bedtime. So my son goes to bed around 8, and I usually work from 8 to 11, 8 to 12. My first year in the business, I was more, I was staying up even later. I was staying up till 12, 1 a.m. This year, I've really cut back, and I try to log off by at least 11. So anyways, you can do this. It's just, you got to sacrifice. There's no doubt about it. There are sacrifices to be able to be successful with this. I want to switch over and I want to talk about how it starts with you. So from day one, I believed that I could do this. I didn't care how many other coaches were in the network. I really didn't. That number didn't matter to me. At the time when I started, I think there was around 200,000 coaches, maybe 250,000. As you guys know, we're around 400,000 plus. That number means nothing to me. I don't care. You shouldn't either. Don't think of it that way. Think of it as, from day one, you need to say, I'm going to make this work. I don't care what my odds are. I don't care how many coaches live in my town. I don't care. You have to know that, and you have to say that, and you have to believe that you are going to be successful. You just have to believe it, okay? You need to know what your why is, and everybody hears that all the time, but it's so true. It has to burn inside of you. My why is that I want to have my husband home with me. He drives 2 hours for work every day, each way. It puts a lot on my shoulders. I don't want that forever. So I'm working super hard so that we can have the choice. We can decide if I need to work anymore or if he needs to work anymore. But that's my why, and it burns. And there are nights when I'm like, you know what, I'm really tired, or I had a long day at work today. Maybe I'll just blow this off. I'd rather watch the Kardashians and go to bed. But I know that that's not gonna get me to have my why come true. So I work, and I continually work, and you guys need to do the same for yourselves. I also remind myself that they picked me for a reason. The people who are reaching out to you to ask to have you as their coach, or maybe to have you as their sponsor upline, it's because you've done something that's made you attractive to them. They picked you for a reason. So don't ever forget that. I think we get caught up in the comparison game of, so-and-so might be a better coach than me or whatever. But just remember that you've got all these clients who picked you. You were special to them. And that's huge. When there's so many of us out there, you should feel honored that somebody said, I want you to help change my life. I think it's important to fake it till you make it. I don't really care if you're an Emerald coach or a brand new coach. You need to act like you are, a top coach. I was good at this. I pretended before I was. And I have my coaches do that too. I acted like I was a top coach, from the minute I decided I wanted to be a coach. I was posting 3 times a day. I was doing all the things I was supposed to. And I was talking up the opportunity because I wanted people to think that I was successful at it. I wasn't lying. I was just acting like it was better than it was, but I was working towards what I was going for, if that makes any sense to you guys. But no one knows what Emerald means. They don't. No one knows what diamond means. No one even knows what 15-star means unless you're a Beachbody coach. And to us, that really matters, right? I know some of you are just dying to go diamond or whatever it is you're reaching for. But quite honestly, your followers don't care. They don't know what it means. All they know is that, you seem to be doing well. You're getting all these things on your wall. You're getting recognition. You're helping people. You're getting a transformation. They just seem to think that, wow, this person knows what they're talking about with Beachbody. And they look like they're successful. If you can portray that image, to your followers, that's what's going to make them think they should choose you. Not necessarily that you have all these ranks or whatever, or you have so many likes on your pictures. It's really just that they trust you. You put on this confidence about yourself that you can help them, and that's what sort of draws them into you. So when you believe that you deserve it, the universe will serve it. The universe may not serve it to you the way you thought it would, but it will if you believe it and you believe in yourself. I think it's important to realize what you have to offer. Okay, every single one of you on this call, I want you to believe it. Okay, you have the power to be someone's saving grace. And I don't give that statement lightly. It's so true. You have the power to help someone escape from a weight loss that they've never been able to achieve in their whole life. And same with the financial freedom. Once you become a coach and a leader, once you become that person and you're growing your own team and you're teaching these people how to run a business, I step back from my business and I realize this is not about me anymore. This is about my team. And I'm teaching these women. I only really work with women. I don't have many men on my team, but I'm teaching these women how to create financial freedom for their whole family. I'm no longer just helping somebody learn how to sell a challenge pack. I'm teaching people how to change not just their world, but their family's world. And that is powerful. And when you believe that, your invites get more powerful. When I invite someone to be a coach on my team, I invite them without a shadow of a doubt that I can help teach them how to be successful. I cannot do the work for them, but I can give them every single tool that it's going to take if they want to make it in this business. And when I lead with an invite with that much confidence, people listen. I don't attract anything but working coaches. My team, I have some discount coaches, but when you're on my team, and if you look at my team and the makeup of it, we're either all in or we're a discount coach. I have very few coaches who are like, yeah, I'm a hobby coach, or, I really want to hit Success Club this month, but I don't care about next month. No, my coaches know that if you want this, you need to go all in. That's it. Because otherwise you may be a hobby coach or you may be a discount coach. But if you truly want to change your world, they know that everything I'm telling them to do is what it takes to be successful. So I want you guys to work on your confidence. If that's not something that you have, you need to work on that, because people can see that in your invites. What I do is I like to send the messages on Facebook Messenger to people. I like to use the voice option. So when I'm talking with somebody about, joining my sneak peek or just about the coaching opportunity, I either get them on the phone or I just continually send them messages with my voice. They might text me, I'm going to respond with my voice because they can hear my passion as I'm speaking. So if you're not using that option, definitely use that. It's really helpful. If you're getting a lot of pushback, if people are telling you no, it's for a reason. And I made this list, and these are the reasons that I see most commonly. Number one is that you're not making it look attractive enough. You are not talking about coaching enough. This is something that I didn't do from the start, and I will tell anyone who's on the call tonight, if you're not doing it, you're doing it wrong. I didn't talk about coaching hardly at all. Deidre would say, we've got this sneak peek coming up. Make sure you invite people. And I'd say, yeah, whatever. Because all I wanted to do was sell challenge packs. I didn't sign people as coaches from the start. I just sold challenge packs. I wanted to be at the top of the list. I wanted to be the Dream Team top producer, Forever Fit top producer, but I didn't care about signing working coaches. So I didn't talk about it. But I later learned that I was not only hurting myself, but I wasn't giving the opportunity to others that I should have been. So I wasn't making it look attractive because, guys, I wasn't talking about it. I only talked about transformations. I only talked about challenge groups. I did it wrong. If you study some of the coaches in the top 10, and that is something that I do, I don't study their posts. I'm not trying to mimic their posts, but I'm trying to see what are they doing on social media that's different. And I am studying them. And what I'm learning about all those top coaches is that they talk about coaching all the time. They very rarely talk about the challenge group piece. It's the coaching. It's every single day talking about why they love coaching or, the little jabs. It's not that in your face, I made $5,000 this week. It's the little jabs about why they love it. And that looks really attractive. Okay. Another thing is that you're not being consistent. My coaches really struggled with this past month. We had our sneak peek and we had probably half the amount invited to it than normal. And I said, guys, what was the problem? We talked about it on the call last night. And they said, you know what? We didn't really start inviting to it until like the week of. They weren't consistent. Same with like these, challenge groups that you guys are about to start running this month, or if you want to sell hard corps, you have to be consistent. You've got to talk about it a ton before anybody hears you. It's like when you ask your husband to take the garbage out and you ask him 10 times and then finally you're like, did you hear me? Okay. They don't hear you at first. All right. Another one, if they're telling you no, it's actually because they need the income. So when you're getting a coach, or someone who says, no, I don't want to be a coach. I don't have the money for that right now. Look at that as a positive. I love when somebody tells me I can't afford it right now, because that means they're going to make a kick-ass coach because they need it. And when you need it, like you need it to pay the rent, you really work hard. And I can say that because I've got some coaches on my team who are working 3 jobs. They need it. And they're my rock stars because they need it to pay the bills. So if you can find someone like that who really does need it, a lot of times they'll make a great coach. You will sometimes have to help them multitask, and you'll have to sit them down and say, look, I know you're working 3 other jobs, but you've got to do X, Y, Z to be successful. Another is that they could just still be unsure. If you're a brand new coach, expect it to take a long time for people to be certain that you're the real deal. Because guys, keep in mind, there are 400,000 other coaches. There's a lot of people doing what you're doing. It's your job to do it uniquely and to do it with your style. okay? But it truly, we hear it all the time when people say no, no doesn't mean no, it means not right now. And I really have found that to be true. So keep asking those people who tell you no, keep following up with them. Another thing that I really would recommend you doing is positioning yourself as the leader. So right now, for most of you, Katie is your leader. But people who are purchasing challenge packs through you or who are signing under you, you're their leader, not Katie. Katie might be the leader of all of this, but she's not theirs. This is something that I discovered about a year into my business, and it was the best discovery I made. I have a phenomenal leader. I love her dearly. She's great. She's talented, but she wasn't me. If you ever met Deidre and you ever met me, we're not the same. I'm a red. She's a yellow. We're totally two different people. And what I was doing is I was attracting all these teachers who were reds. And I was putting them in Coach Basics with Deidre, who's a yellow. And I was putting them in, sneak peeks. And what was happening is she was scaring them to death because she'll sometimes would yell at them and why aren't you doing the work? And I was like, oh no, what's going on? And my teacher, if you're a teacher, you know what I'm talking about. They're like, oh my God, she yelled at me. I'm so scared. And so what I realized very quickly was like, wait a minute, I need to be these people's leader. For this to work, I can't expect my coach to train my coaches. And we'll tell you at first, it's okay. If you're a brand new coach, it's okay to ask Katie to run your new coaches through Coach Basics. That's okay. But once you're once you're a coach who's been with her for 6 months to a year, it's time to fly. It really is. And it's an honor when you train someone so well that they can fly on their own. My coaches right now, so I told you I have 5 diamonds. My coaches right now, they're running a 2-star push group in the dream team out of nowhere. They didn't even tell me they were doing it. They are, they're having calls on their own. They're helping, they're doing things that I wanted them to learn to do. I'll tell you though, when you're sitting in the leader spot and they start to do it, you're like, oh, they don't need me anymore. But it's a good thing. They still do need me. But let me get back to where I was. You've got to do this yourself. You've got to start. And here's where I started. I started with Coach Basics. I said, okay, what do we need to teach these people? What can I share that I think would help them? So as a team, my team and I, we went and we made a list and we said, what does every brand new coach need to know? And we came up with 30 topics. And so for 30, I made 30 different, short 5-minute videos. And that's what our Coach Basics is. It's not the one from the online office. It's not the scripts with all of the random coaches. It's just me. And that may not work for your team, but it really works well for our team. And then I know that there's consistency. I know that everybody has been taught the same thing. So my coaches are starting to do that too. But moral of the story is, when you feel like you're ready, not before, but when you feel like you're ready, you've got to jump. You've got to have your own Coach Basics. You've got to, host your own business opportunity. I see that you guys are doing the live Q&A, like the usual, like the 2-hour now instead of the 5-day sneak peek, or maybe you're doing the lunch and learn or whatever. But do that. Do it just once. Have a business opportunity call that you've done. If you've never done one, make one yourself. Have a Zoom call, record yourself by yourself going through it so you can send it to someone. Because some of you are probably sending your potentials Katie's business opportunity call. All that does is get someone interested in having Katie as their coach. Who wouldn't want Katie as their coach, right? So all you're doing is you're just selling her. So as much as she probably has great content, you need to sell yourself. You need to show them, hey, I'm a leader. Here's my business opportunity call. So if you haven't done that, you'll want to work on it. And the next thing I want you guys to work on is creating a culture to create momentum. That was, aside from me deciding to be the leader of my own team, this was my next biggest thing that made me have a team of working coaches. We have weekly calls, and I had them from the start. I think it was probably sometime, I guess last year at some point, I finally said, we need our own team page. It was called Sarah's Personally Sponsored Coaches. Like, it was nothing. There was a couple people in it, and I just I prayed every Sunday when I had a call that someone would get on. And it started with me, and then it started with 3, and then it started with a whole, now here we are. It's just my coaches. It's amazing. But it has to start with 1. And you've got to decide, I'm gonna set a time for my team calls. I'm gonna do this. And it will grow. So one thing that you can do is you can put, in my team page, I was big on putting just like daily motivational quotes about business for my coaches. I made videos for them all the time. I always put tips in. Even today, I am most active in my team page. That's where my heart is at in this business. I like the business side. I like training my coaches. So I spend a lot of time with them. I don't make my success a secret. Anything that I do that this worked really well for me, boom, I'm going to tell my whole downline, because I know that their success is my success. So I don't keep anything a secret. As far as team building goes, I'm fortunate that I have a lot of coaches in State College. So we do get to do stuff together. We have team building events. We've done a few photo shoots together. We go out for cocktails. We have fun, and that has really helped. We're actually planning our first Super Saturday event, and it's really bringing us together. So as far as events go, get them there. That's the one thing. As soon as I got a lot of coaches with me to Summit. I say a lot, and I think I had 5 or 6, but that was a lot as a new coach. So once I got them there, their businesses took off, and that's what you want. So if you can beg, plead, whatever you have to do, get your coaches to a Super Saturday event, get them to Summit, get them somewhere so they can see how amazing this company is. They'll fall in love with the brand just like you have if you can get them to an event. And truly, like attracts like. You don't want to work with everybody. You really don't. There's lots of people out there who you don't want on your team, and that's okay. It really is. I look at my team of coaches, and they're very similar to me. We get along well. We're not all completely the same, but my team is full of busy, well-educated, motivated women. I have lawyers, I have doctors, I have teachers, I have nurses. I have smart cookies on my team, and smart cookies know how to get it done. So anyways, just know who you are and know who you want. The last thing that I want to say is be patient and don't stop. Anything worth having in life takes time. Anything. A happy marriage takes time. A good career takes time. This takes time. The overnight success that you might be chasing, it's not a real thing. It really isn't. If you look at all the coaches in this business, they've been here for more than a year. Michael Gowan is a coach on the Dream Team, and when I started, he would always say, be here in a year. Just be here in a year. And he'd said it all the time to me. And so I just kept telling it over and over to myself. That first year when I was like, I don't know if I should do this, I kept saying, you know what? I got to be here in a year. I treated year 1 like my internship. I said, what can I learn? Who is successful? Who can I watch? What can I do so I can duplicate their success? And so I just kept showing up. If you can make it a year in this business, you're probably not going anywhere, because you're going to find that you're on your way to success. You may not be there overnight. I will tell you, a year into my business and at a new diamond rank, I was not making buku bucks. I'm still not making buku bucks, but I still love it, and that's what's important. If you're passionate about it and it's keeping you up at night, then it's where you're supposed to be. I like this quote. It says, you have to put in many, many tiny efforts that nobody sees or appreciates before you achieve anything worthwhile. There are going to, we look at all of these coaches who have what you think you want. Maybe they're diamond coaches, maybe they're elite, maybe they're, however many stars, and they make it look easy. But guys, they worked really hard. They stayed up late when everybody else went to bed. They sent more invites than everybody else. They earned it. But the cool part about this business is you can earn it too. We all have everything it takes to be a successful coach. So good luck to you. That's all I really have for tonight. I hope that was maybe what you needed. Do you have any questions?
It was awesome. That was great information. And I often forget to say that phrase, be here in a year, but it is true. And when you say be here in a year, it's not just be here in a year. It's that you do the work each month. You do the small, simple, seemingly insignificant things day in and day out that just grow your business. You set smaller goals that ultimately get you to the bigger goal. So you're right. And I do have a question, and then I'm going to open it up to anyone else. The chat bar is below. But I kind of like to ask this to coaches, and I always put them on the spot, and they kind of go, oh, I don't know. But I like to ask, what are 3 truths and 1 lie about Beachbody coaching that you have found to be impactful in your life?
Okay.
3 truths and 1 lie.
Okay, so 3 truths. So 1 truth, am I telling you that they're the truth, or are you guessing?
No, you're telling us the truth.
Okay, because in class, sometimes I'll do icebreakers. Like, so which one was the lie? Okay, so truths. You're going to make amazing friendships. Truths, you're going to find you're not going to be the same person you were when you started. This will change you, but it'll change you for the better. Truths, you can do this regardless of how busy you are. In fact, you're probably a better coach than some of those people who are home all day doing this, because you can get it done in short periods of time. So don't let anybody doubt you. Lie, that you don't have to invite anymore after you've been doing it for a while. Such a lie. I slacked off, guys. That was something that I'm telling you. After I didn't make Elite, I had my pity party, and I was like, oh, I'm just not going to invite, whatever. And I just I just took a break, not a true break. I never left my presence on social media, but I stopped doing the things that I knew I needed to do to move my business forward. And it's slowed me down. Guys, I hit Success Club. I think I only hit 5 last month, and this month I'm only at 10. I'm not rocking it. Last year, this month the cup's telling you, oh, hey, last year at this time, this was your ultimate SC points. Last year it was 33, and this year it's 10. So Deidre probably hates that. But anyways, you can't stop inviting. You really can't.
No, that is absolutely one of the lies that you hear in Beachbody coaching, is you become so successful in that you don't have to invite. I'll agree with that. I'm 3.5 years in. I still invite. I send personal messages. I wear my wear and share. And I'm going to be on Kirsten. I'm pretty sure I saw her on the call. Kirsten is like the queen of invites. She is to a T, and even better than me. She is to a T, hands down, without a doubt, every day invites. And so that is why she is an SC legend, and that is why she is where she is in the business, and that is why she just, that consistency over time, that be here in a year. So I agree with that as well. And not to say nobody else was, but Kirsten stands out to me because she's been with me the longest. So very cool. Do you guys have questions for Sarah? Let me open up the chat bar. I do not. If you guys want to unmute, though, I know Sarah won't be shy about answering questions. Let me see. Let me see if I can unscreen. Any other questions, guys? All right, Sarah, thank you so much for being a part of our team tonight and giving us this great information. We appreciate your time, and it is awesome just to see you do amazing things with your business. And it's been cool to watch you grow as a leader as well. So please keep us posted on all of your successes and that day that you put that letter of resignation in too.
Soon enough. All right. Thank you for having me. I'll see you on the cruise.
See you guys. Bye-bye.